Alrighty guys, part 3. Buckle up. Ready to go. The rest of these books that I'm going to show you were all from Book Outlet. The only two you're not going to see again are The Midnight Watch and My Notorious Life, which were also part of the box. So I'm going to start off with Romantically Disturbed, Love Poems to Rip Your Heart Out by Ben H. Winters, illustrated by Adam F. Watkins. So these are just kind of disturbing, perfect, disturbing, kind of morbid love poems, love stories. And they're perfect for me because I am morbid and weird and creepy. Moving on, The Watchers, A Secret History of the Reign of Elizabeth I. So this is basically about Francis Walsingham, who he was like the spy master, other than William Cecil. I think William Cecil came later. But, so basically Elizabeth had everyone plotting against her. The Spanish and the French plotted against her because she was a woman. She wasn't kind of worth anything, according to them. The Pope denounced her, called her a heretic. So of course Spain and France believed that because she was a heretic they could kind of take over. She didn't matter, it was whatever. Plus she didn't want to get married. Like, she didn't want to marry anybody because then her loyalties would be tied to one specific country when she kind of needed everyone behind her. She even had her own people who were plotting against her, which I think is really sad. But Walsingham really kind of went in and found out who was plotting against her so that she could, yeah. Next, we have Of Triton by Anna Banks. I know, someone wrote on the cover. It sucks. This is the second book in the Cyrena Legacy trilogy by Anna Banks. I do have the last book of Neptune in hardback. That's actually one that's coming in another video. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow. And I do have the first book of Poseidon on my Kindle, but I do not have a physical copy. I have the whole series on my Kindle, but now I'm actually getting physical copies because I liked it that much. The whole series is essentially about mermaids and how there's different factions or different kingdoms within the mermaid society. And anyways, it's really, really good. It's very well written. I highly recommend it and enjoy it. Next we have Dead Investigation by Charlie Price. This is, I always get his name confused, Murray Kiefer. This is the second book. The first one is called Dead Connection. However, this is a standalone companion to Dead Connection. So technically it's not really a sequel. It's a companion, so it goes along, it's in the same universe, but it is a standalone story. But it is about Murray Kiefer. I keep wanting to call him Kiefer Murray. Murray Kiefer, who can actually speak to dead people, and he actually lives in a shed on a cemetery. I think that's pretty darn cool. And dead people talk to him, and I think it's in actually this story where someone has come to him about a murder, I think at a school. One of his friends, actually, I think, and so he has to solve the murder. I think that's what it's about. I can't really remember, but I think that's what it's about. Then I have Winter King, Henry VII and the Dawn of Tudor England, by Thomas Penn. This is actually his first biography, his first book, and it won an award. Go Tom. I love the stories that I can read on the War of the Roses or the Cousins' War, but this is really about how Tudor England had already been torn apart because of the War of the Roses, the fight between the houses of Lancaster and Tudor. Correct? Yes. Yes. Oh, Lancaster and York. Excuse me. Lancaster and York. It was close. So the Queen Elizabeth, who was Elizabeth York, who was married to Henry VII, was actually a York princess. Henry VII was a Lancaster king. They are the parents of Henry VIII. And this is kind of the story of his marriage to Elizabeth, their children, and what happens when Catherine of Aragon comes and Arthur dies and Henry VIII has to come into power. So I'm really excited to see how he portrays that story, the details that he puts in. I always like hearing that kind of stuff. Then we have The Removers by Andrew Meredith. This is a story about a guy who has a lot of family problems. He does not get along with his father for various reasons, and he actually joins his father as a remover. So essentially, people who die in their homes, he comes in and actually removes the body. So he actually tells a lot of different stories, some of them sad, some of them a little bit comical. I know that sounds weird to say comical, but and talks about how he kind of reconnects with his dad and reconnects with his family and learns a lot about himself along the way. So I like those kinds of stories. I also have Black Ice by Becca Fitzpatrick. Sorry, I'm trying to move this along because my camera is going to shut off. Sometimes danger is hard to see until it's too late. Dramatic pause. This is actually about a girl who goes hiking in the woods. She's going to backpack a large mountain range, and her ex wants to go with her. And I'm not sure if they get separated or what happens, but essentially she kind of gets stuck in a blizzard, and she goes to this cabin, and there's two guys, and she has to rely on their hospitality, and it turns out they're fugitives. And I think there's a little bit of like maybe Stockholm Syndrome going on. Maybe it's reverse Stockholm Syndrome. I don't really know. I thought it sounded cool. I liked the title. I liked the cover. So I was okay with it. Then we have The Millionaire and the Bard. This is Henry Folger's obsessive hunt for Shakespeare's first folio. So basically, Henry Folger was on an obsessive hunt to find Shakespeare's first folio. This is by Andrea Mays. This essentially Shakespeare's first folio was put together by friends of his as a memorial. They found some of his plays, some of his manuscripts, they edited it, they published it, and it became Shakespeare's first folio. And if it weren't for Henry Folger's obsessive hunt for it, we wouldn't have a lot of the works of Shakespeare that we do have. So I think it's kind of a credit to him that he was so obsessive about it. Plus, I love Shakespeare. I read a lot of it. I've actually performed a lot of it as well. So I was really interested to see something that it had been a huge part of my life for so long. So I also have Nancy Springer's The Case of the Peculiar Pink Fan. This is an Enola Holmes mystery, the sister of Sherlock Holmes, the younger sister. It is kind of like a middle grade YA. They are really interesting stories. They're very cute, very fun, very fluffy. I also have, another mystery. This is The Messengers of Death by Pierre Magnan, a mystery in Provence. So this is about a man who finds an envelope addressed to a lady, Mademoiselle Veronique, in an old mailbox. So he buys a stamp, mails it out, and then come to find out, the woman who was supposed to get this letter, her body was discovered, and there is a man, Commissaire Lavolée, is coaxed out of retirement to solve the mystery of this woman. I thought that was very interesting. I thought it was very cool. I wanted to read it. Last but certainly not least is The Invention of Murder by Judith Flanders. How the Victorians reveled in death and detection and created modern crime. Not cheated. Created modern crime. This sucker is like almost 500 pages. It's huge. I don't know when I'm going to get around to reading it, but it's going to take me quite a while. So it goes over, I think, like different methods of death, and different cases, how they were solved. Ooh, here's a chapter on poisoners. Yay! There's a chapter on panic. That's always fun. Policing murder. Ooh, Entertaining murder. Trial by newspaper. Say it ain't so. So I think that'll be really interesting to read. Yeah, that is it. Thanks for hanging in with me, guys. I'm so sorry that I had to rush through it and I couldn't really give it a lot of detail, but please, 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 please subscribe, comment, let me know if you like these videos. If you like these videos, I will do more. I will tell you all about all of these books in detail. I will read them and tell you all about them. I am always buying books. Always. Don't tell my husband. But I am always buying books, so I'm more than happy to tell you all about them. Just let me know. I will see you guys probably tomorrow. It is St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, so I will show you my brand new look that I've been working on, and I will have some more books to show you. So I will see you next time. Take care. Be good. Being bad is better, but be good, and I'll see you soon.